Any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto.
T.O. Haas Tire reminds you there's still plenty of summer left for one more long weekend, one more day in the sun, or one more getaway drive down your favorite road to enjoy one last stretch of summer. And we're here to help with up to $100 back on a new set of Michelin tires, including the all-new Cross Climate 2.
T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, a tradition of trust.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
At Koppel, you can shop online for the most affordable crossovers, SUVs, cars, and trucks. They have new Chevrolet and GMC or used inventory, all at your fingertips. Hi, I'm Sean Callahan, and before I got my car at Koppel, I shopped online at koppelcars.com. I found a vehicle I liked, then I drove that money-saving mile to Koppel in Louisville. You should too. It was just minutes from I-80 or at koppelcars.com.
Are you dragging through each day? Most people are dehydrated or deficient in essential vitamins, minerals, and more. Live Hydration Spa helps you get more out of your life with their IV hydration treatments to help with anti-aging, weight loss, endurance, and more. Their performance packages can help you feel better doing your normal daily routine with boosts of energy and vitality, an increase in immunity, and quicker athletic recovery. Call today for an appointment at 402-413-2042 or walk in at 71st and Pioneers. Live Hydration Spa.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you today. No Rico once again, but that's okay. He has much more important things to worry about, as they had a nice little surprise this morning. So congrats to them. If you do not know what I'm talking about, go check out his Twitter. It's on there. So congrats to Rico and his wife, Rachel. This is going to be a lot of fun today, folks. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. Matt Lubick spoke to the media today. Eric Shenander, defensive coordinator, spoke a little bit today. But first things first. We have a couple texts here, so we need to sift through them. It looks like at 2:01, Cubsker, congratulations. You won nothing once again. So congratulations to Cubsker there. As always, all hour long, 402-464-5685, Honda Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line. Both those are open for you. I will say a little bit of disclaimer. I just want to let this be known. Right now, I am the only one at the station. So if you call in, there's nobody to screen calls. So I'm going to answer the phone and say, who is this? And we're going to have a lot of fun that way. Okay, I'll be ready with the dump button just in case. It could be a spam call. It could just be a normal call. Just a heads up on there. So, with that being said, let's dive right into it. Today has been a very exciting day. I just want to say that. And you guys won't think that this is exciting, but it's been exciting for me. First of all, class got canceled this morning. Second of all, I got a beard trim. So if you're on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, congratulations. You get to see my sharp, straight-edged, razored beard that I got done this morning by my guys at Burke's Barbershop. Shout out Burke's Barbershop. I know Rico says no free shout-outs. However, I will happily give them a shout-out. And then also, I have a slow pitch softball game tonight. And I was a little worried last night because it got rain. We got a monsoon in Lincoln. It woke me up about 6 a.m. However, the slow pitch softball game is still on. So I can tell you right now, you can expect a full report tomorrow on the happy hour. Before we get into some serious stuff, we touched on the whole IMG Academy and Bishop Sycamore thing yesterday and how Bishop Sycamore just flat out lied to ESPN. And then it was kind of a bad look on ESPN's part because they allowed Bishop Sycamore to lie to them and play on national television against IMG Academy with a lot of junior college dropouts with a head coach that had a warrant out for his arrest. Well, today, Bishop Sycamore's coach, Roy Johnson, has been fired. He got canned. So no more Bishop Sycamore. No more Bishop Sycamore coaches. So maybe, we'll see who gets the call. Maybe Cam Newton needs a new job at quarterback. Head over to Bishop Sycamore in Ohio, and you can play IMG Academy if you can finesse a TV station like ESPN to let you guys play on their station. Yeah, Cam Newton was cut today. I'm bummed that Rico's not here because he probably has thoughts on Mac Jones being quarterback number 1 in New England. However, I mean, Cam Newton can't really throw the ball, and he can barely run anymore. He's not 2015 Cam Newton. And so, it's just going to be very, very interesting to see how Mac Jones takes the reins there for New England. Couple texts here early on. So, Nick, are you saying that you're home alone? Listen, they had a remote, so Tom and Bach are there. I probably shouldn't have said that because now somebody can just walk in and, well, actually the door's locked, but somebody could just walk in and hurt me in the middle of my show, but that's fine. If you really are one of those people, go ahead. Somebody also asked, did you see the slow pitch home run derby in Lincoln last night? I did not. Let's see. How do you get fired by a fake high school team? Well, listen, just let it happen. That's all I say. On our Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, I'll throw that comment up by Pit Crew 1034 Bud. You play softball on Tuesdays too? My co-ed team plays at Mahoney on Tuesdays. We are bad. So we are not a co-ed team. We probably should have went down a level because we are not that good. We had our sights set on Vegas for nationals December 1st through the 6th, but that's not happening after we've started out 1-3. But hey, we're starting to find our stride. Offense is a little touchy. We had 1 run total through our first 3 games. However, then last week we rattled off 17 runs in 1 game. So I think we're starting to find our stride. Also, I play first base. I'm not the tallest dude. I play first base though. And if anybody has a first baseman's glove that they aren't using that's for softball, please let me know, because I have I'm playing first base with an 11.5-inch glove. And that, I'd be able to make that work with baseball. But when you're catching a 12-inch softball in that tiny little glove, plus I'm not the tallest man in the world, 5'10", fake height, I know. But if I'm not the tallest man in the world, and so when I'm trying to catch a 12-inch softball with that, it's a little difficult. Couple more about, are you playing at 7:15 tonight at Mahoney? No, we play at Holmes because we're like the men's competitive division or whatever. However, there must have been puddles or something at Holmes. The city takes care of the fields. That's a whole nother topic for another time. But no, our game got moved to Ballard, which is over by Havelock, I believe. There. Somebody also says, I'm sure your fans have not lost excitement yet. You're 1-3. Listen, dude. Hey, we're fine. We're going to be okay. We're still in the hunt. It's okay. We're going to be 2-3 tonight. Also, I hope if somebody's listening that plays me tonight, listen, man, I don't want to talk about it. I'm not that good anymore. I used to be good. Eric in Lincoln says nothing worse than a slow pitch softball guy at work bringing in his $200 bat to show off and brag how many dingers he hit the night before. Yeah, we don't hit dingers. We just kind of, I try to place it. I tried the other day to place it over the in the Bermuda Triangle of first base, second baseman, and right field. And then the guy pitched it inside on me, and I was like, oh, mid pitch. I was like, oh, I gotta turn on this. So I changed my thought mid pitch, and I grounded into a double play. So it's fine. It's okay. That's what we're going to do. Cubsker, we don't need a spare guy tonight, but if we do, I'll hit you up for sure. We should probably talk about some Nebraska football. And so I'm sure you guys still have thoughts on it. Once again, 402-464-5685. Like I said, Matt Lubick talked to the media a little bit today. Eric Shenander talked a little bit today. Matt Lubick said some interesting things that we'll get to here shortly. But here's this. We're going to start with a sellout. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, and I gave you guys my thoughts on how true has it been the last 3 years? Yes, it's still a record that Nebraska has, but how true has it really been the last couple years? And are you really a fan of keeping something going when you know it's fake? Like, think of it like a relationship. How about that? A single guy telling you what a relationship is like. Here we go, folks. If you know your girlfriend's lying to you, if you know your boyfriend's lying to you, and you know it's fake, that they don't like you, but they're just dragging you on, why keep it going? Let's think about that as in terms of the sellout streak. Let's make that work, huh? So the sellout streak. I saw a graphic roll across Twitter today. Rutgers, their Thursday night game against Temple. Yes, Rutgers, their capacity, I believe, is around 59,000 people, maybe 57. They sold out against Temple. Yes, it's the first game against Greg Schiano, or with Greg Schiano as the head coach, but it's Rutgers against Temple, and they sold out. So then that made me think, whenever Nebraska, let's just go along with the thought process that Fordham is not going to be a sellout, because I think that's the main thought right now, and the common thought is that Nebraska is going to fall short. There's a lot of tickets that are still available, whether they're for $7, for $11. I saw something on Facebook today that people were selling theirs in row 4 for like $45 a pop. And so, I mean, students are selling their tickets like crazy. That's all. I mean, in the student group chats here at UNL, and I can tell you that because I'm a part of all of them. They're all trying to sell their tickets for Fordham. Nobody's trying to sell their tickets for Husker volleyball this weekend. I can tell you that. And so, so that made me think, once I saw that graphic of first sellout or, fully sold out here at Rutgers, is that what Nebraska is going to do? Knowing what kind of media department Nebraska has, which that alternate uniform video was cool today, but is that what this program is going to eventually do when Nebraska finally sells out again, whether that's against Buffalo or down the road against Michigan or Northwestern? Will there be a graphic? I think we should, if somebody was here to write that on the board, I would have them write that on the board. Maybe I will during the break. I'm still getting some slow pitch softball advice. Drew says, Nick, we'll see you at 6:15 at Ballard tonight. I think I play at 8:15, but we'll see. Maybe. He also says, don't need a first base glove. Get a 12.5 or 13-inch softball glove and you'll be fine at first. Yeah, that's fine. I need something bigger probably. Can we really take anything the coach is saying in a press conference seriously at this point? Should hear we had the best practice since Scott's been here. Here's the thing about press conferences. Yes, you have to take them with a grain of salt nowadays, especially. However, that's the most access that we're going to be able to get. And so you have to, and I'm not saying like they're not going to lie. They're not like blatantly lying to us. I'm sure that they feel like when they've said, this is the best talent we've had. And some of the stuff Lubick said today isn't really along those lines. I'll tell you that. and we'll get into it here shortly as well. Got a couple more things I want to get to before we go down the deep hole of Husker football. Going back on Cam Newton, Rico chimed in. Congrats, Rico, on all your stuff. Rico says, don't talk crap on Cam. I still love him, but Mac Jones will win Rookie of the Year and multiple Super Bowls. So there's your daily dose of Rico on the New England Patriots hype train there. All right, let's talk a little bit about Nebraska volleyball before we head towards Fordham. Husker volleyball, they just beat Kansas State 3-1 on Saturday. They now host I believe it's like the Emeritus Players Challenge this weekend. They play UNO at 11 a.m. and then some other team at 6 p.m., Georgia maybe. However, some of the bigger news this week has been freshman libero Lexi Rodriguez. She was the co-player of the week, I believe, in the Big Ten. She had 5 digs or so. She was averaging 5 digs per set over this weekend. She had 21 during the match against Kansas State as a true freshman. And here's the best part. Nebraska volleyball is so loaded that Allie Batenhorst, the third best recruit in the country last year across all positions, so the third overall prospect, hasn't played. Riley Gray, a top, I think, 75 prospect from Elkhorn South, hasn't played. Now, this is where it's different from Husker football. Husker football, it's more of a thought process that the guys aren't ready to take the job. They haven't shown the ability to go out and win a job. And the talent in front of them is not necessarily way better, but they haven't been able to go out and win a job. Here's the deal. With Husker volleyball, it's kind of the opposite. That the talent in front of them is so loaded, there's so much high-level talent in front of them that there's just not a spot. Like, think about the expectation for John Cook's staff. It's national title. It's championship mentality. Year in and year out. And as a media guy and as a fan of Husker volleyball, man, I am jealous of the people that are within that program, whether it's Jalen Reyes, whether it's Tyler Hildebrand, and I mean, obviously all the players. Because like their whole thought is that they know they're good. Like they expect to be good. And here's the kicker. Is they come to practice every day still feeling like they should be getting better. They know that they're probably a top 5 team in the country, truthfully, talent-wise, how they play, how that transitions from practice to the court. We talk about that quite often. They know it. They know they're good. However, John Cook doesn't allow them to settle. And that's probably what goes into what makes him such a fantastic coach across all sport. I think that's fair to say. Somebody asked on the text line what Lexi Rodriguez's ranking was. I believe she was the number, I'm looking her up. I believe she was the number 3. She was the top libero coming out of high school. Oh, I just got to look it up here. She was the 10th overall prospect coming out of high school, the number 1 libero or defensive specialist as well, and then the number 1 prospect coming out of Illinois. And so a lot of exciting stuff there with Husker volleyball. They play Georgia at 6 p.m. and UNO at 11 a.m. on Friday morning and afternoon in the Emeritus Players Classic. Let's move on before we take a quick break and we start delving into Husker football. Nebraska men's basketball, a lot of excitement around their program, right? Tip-off for Nebraska and Auburn was announced. It's going to be at 10:30 a.m. on ESPN2. I believe they play on December 11th at the State Farm Arena, the home of the Atlanta Hawks. It's an intriguing game. Like, if there was more than just one game, I'd probably think about going, because that is going to be a lot of fun. Auburn has an incoming 5-star in, I believe his name's Jabari Smith. And so that's going to be fun to watch. They didn't have the best season last year like Nebraska. I think they went somewhere around 500, 12-14, 13-14, something like that. Auburn, that is. And that game, it just kind of feels like there's that vibe that Georgia Tech at home was last year, just with a little more national spotlight. Because I believe that Georgia Tech game was also on ESPN2, was at night in the first couple weeks of December. And Nebraska missed a real opportunity with that one, because Georgia Tech ended up becoming an NCAA tournament team. They started, they had a decent showing in the big dance, Georgia Tech did. And that could have been a high quality win for Nebraska men's basketball. A little bit more on Auburn. Like I said, they had that 5-star that's incoming. He's going to be a freshman, Jabari Smith. They also added 4 guys from the transfer market. A couple of them will be immediately eligible, including a 7'1" big man from North Carolina, Walker Kessler. And so I was looking at some of the tickets for that game, just on some third parties and secondary markets. And you can get tickets like row 4 or something for $70 a pop. And that's for the morning session. So you're going to get, like, I believe 2 games for that at the State Farm Arena. So it's, I mean, hey, if you got nothing going on December 10th through the 12th, make a little bit of a weekend trip there with Nebraska and Auburn, along with some of the other teams that are playing in the Holiday Hoops Giving. That's what they're calling it. Also on the basketball front, Jonathan Giovanni of on Twitter reported that Nebraska and Creighton are going to host a joint pro day. There's going to be a lot of guys there. I mean, looking at just solely Nebraska, a lot of guys. Obviously, Bryce McGowan is the first one that comes to mind that, pro scouts might want to get some eyes on. And so there will be a session in the morning and there will be a session in the afternoon. It's going to be held at the practice facilities. It'll include the athletic testing, some skill work, some scrimmaging. So it's going to be a lot of interesting stuff there on October 6th to see what, kind of happens with Husker men's basketball and Creighton. It's kind of interesting that they're working together. I don't know how you guys feel about that. So interesting stuff there. I know this has been talked about. Happer and Schaefer talked about it. I'm sure Tom and Bach talked about it a little bit. What are your guys' thoughts on the alternate uniforms? 402-464-5685. Alternate uniforms were released. A drama-filled video, but that's kind of, what Nebraska does. And so, that's fine. They're going to wear them against Buffalo. Damian Jackson, his beard was covering part of the top of the uniform. And so I was a big fan of the NU on the side of the helmet, I will say. Big fan of the NU on the side of the helmet. Keep it classic. I like that look. There's a little bit, if you have not seen it, there's a little bit of camo with a little bit like a gray tint or so on the jersey and the pants. And so a little bit of a different look there. Speaking of that, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, what's all the hate about Little Red? Why do people hate Little Red? That man is awesome. I will never forget going to the Bob Devaney Sports Center for Husker men's basketball and Husker women's basketball games and watching Little Red. Little Red would just be bouncing on his head down there on the floor, and people would love it. And now everybody wants him gone. They want him popped. They want to pop Little Red. And they want to bring back classic Herbie Husker, which I'm okay with. Bring back. But then what happens to current Herbie Husker? Right? And so Kent on the text line, Kent in Lincoln says they'd look better going into the game undefeated, the alternate uniforms. Yeah. Darren says, I thought Frost said there wasn't going to be any more alternate uniforms. They really need to stop it. Video is super cool, but come on, the coaches, players, and all involved need to focus on playing the game. Yeah, I don't know how much distraction there is with uniforms though. Like, I feel like maybe that's what Nebraska needs, is they need something to hype them up. But then, man, you need to think about where your priorities are if alternate jerseys are what hype you up, I suppose. Somebody says that they're disappointed that it's going to be white jerseys at home. You can't even see the camo accent on these. Yeah, you're right about that. You can't really see the camo accent. So keep sending in your thoughts and texts on there, 402-464-5685. Like I said, Matt Lubick spoke to the media today. We'll have a couple clips from him talking about, how he felt up in the box watching the game plan be thrown out the window. So we'll take a quick break. More up next on the Happy Hour.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben sandwich or the prime rib French dip or any of their famous chicken lips. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
Where will you go next? The Southeast Community College Fall 2021 Continuing Education schedule of classes is arriving in your mailbox. Take a class in leadership and professional development, like real estate license prep, business courses like accounting and financials, or building a business plan, or 19 pages of personal interest classes like dog grooming, making jewelry, or even charcuterie. The entire schedule is online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Allo knows businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
I was in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean when it happened. There was a sudden jolt and our submarine crashed on the seafloor. We were in total darkness.
That's Dr. Dejana Figueroa, a marine biologist and STEM teacher, talking about a deep sea dive she'll never forget.
It's funny, when I was a kid, I was afraid of the ocean. And there I was, 2 miles below the surface. But as a scientist, you prepare for that. Using our training and a little creativity, we fixed the sub and finished our experiments. The dive was just too important. Every dive gives us glimpses at things few people ever get to see. Glowing creatures, fiery undersea volcanoes. When we got back to the surface, I kissed the ground and called my mom, of course. But you know what? I wouldn't trade that dive for anything.
Dr. Figueroa uses her passion for STEM to discover new things and make the world a better place. She can STEM, so can you. Check out She Can STEM for more stories and inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese Beef is Lincoln's newest full-service butcher shop, offering premium fresh-cut steaks and house-made sausages daily from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They exclusively carry certified Piedmontese beef raised right here in Nebraska. When shopping at the Mercado, you're not only supporting local, but also enjoying the official beef of Nebraska Athletics. With prime-grade tenderness and unparalleled nutritionals, your backyard barbecue is about to get a serious upgrade. Stop into the Mercado today, located off 84th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Join the whole Ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket. Sponsored by Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping, Tractor Supply Distribution Center, T.O. Haas Tire and Auto, Planet Fitness, Barnwood and Leather, and Vitalize Health. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Nick Sainert with you this afternoon. Had a lot of people reach out about slow pitch softball tonight. I appreciate all the help. Like I said, if you're going to be at Ballard tonight at 8:15, make sure you don't watch. Look away. Look away, please, because we don't need video evidence out there surfacing on Twitter about how bad I was looking at first base with my 11.5-inch baseball glove. So just look away, please. Once again, congrats to Rico and Rachel. And look at their Twitter for more information on that. Okay, let's talk about Husker football a little bit. We spent first segment discussing Husker volleyball, Husker basketball. More happier stuff on the Happy Hour, right? So let's talk about Husker football now. Matt Lubick and Eric Shenander talked to the media today. We'll have a little bit of both here. We'll start out with Matt Lubick. As always, 402-464-5685. Hunt of Lincoln Hotline, Starter Heyman text line, both those are open, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream. We can throw your comments up there at any point, so just keep sending those in, and we'll have some fun there. Yesterday, Frost said, that once they came out, they kind of had to throw away half of their game plan, and that was alarming. Well, today, Matt Lubick, one of the first questions he asked, I think the second, was asked how much his heart sunk. That was the actual terminology that the media used, was how much did your heart sink when you were up in the box and you noticed that half of your game plan was going to have to be thrown out the window?
Yeah, we kind of, and when you go into a first game, you're not sure what they're going to do. We did think they were going to be an odd, but we had a lot of meetings on, hey, what if they come out in this? What if they come out in this? And so we had another call sheet for if they come out in even. And we actually used some of those. We used those plays, and we didn't have the results that we would like to have. But we had, and then the same thing with the coverages, because you don't know. It's the first game of the year. They could change it. It was a new coach. So we had what we thought, our best game plan would be if they came out in this, and we had the ability to adapt. Because we met on that, the whole month going in, because there's so much uncertainty going to a first game. And so, yeah, there were some specific things we had in the game plan versus that they didn't do, that we didn't use, but we had enough other stuff. And then we also, we didn't always execute it the right way, but we also tried to call plays that have answers versus multiple fronts, and that your kids know what to do, and multiple coverages. And we got to keep continuing to do that, because at the end of the day, the defense can do a whole bunch of different things, and you got to be prepared for it. And your kids got to know what they're doing, and we got to be able to execute.
Okay, so that was Matt Lubick talking about what he felt halfway through the game there when kind of they had to throw some stuff away. However, we're going to get to some breaking news here After we just finished talking about the sellout streak, Sam McEwen put out an article 1 minute ago, and it says, the Husker sellout streak survives thanks to the, quote, red carpet experience for underserved children. And so I'll just read parts of this article right from it. This is the first time that I'm reading it, so as well. A group of anonymous boosters purchased thousands of tickets for economically underserved children across the state through a program called the Red Carpet Experience, which was developed by Nebraska in the last month. Husker Athletic Director Trev Alberts told the World Herald on Tuesday. So it looks like, folks, and I see you guys sending that in. Adam, I saw you send in that picture of that article as well. So it looks like the Albert said that most of the 2,600 available tickets are part of Fordham's 3,000 ticket allotment that went to unsold Rams fans. Alberts continued saying, we have an awful lot of young people who just don't have access to enjoy Husker athletics, particularly Husker football, because the experience is outside of their economic circumstances. I heard from a whole lot of our donors and others who very, very much passionately wanted to keep the sellout streak alive. So it looks like Nebraska's sellout streak will survive one more time, and it will continue to go. And that's for a good reason. So that's a lot better than just people buying up the tickets and not using them, and they're still being sold or unused seats, basically. So it goes to underserved children, which is a really, really good way just on the surface. It's just a really, really good way to help out just children that aren't able to go to Husker. You know what? I'm going to say this. I was a kid that was not able. We never went to Husker football games. We just never did. It was the spring game because that's basically what my family did. It was just, hey, yeah, spring game tickets were $10 no matter where they were. My parents, they not lined up, but they made sure that they were one of the first in line to get the tickets. And we sat in the South Stadium, first row, and it was $10 a pop. And it was me and my cousin. So things like that, where these kids are actually going to be able to go to an actual real football game, big time. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Back to Matt Lubick. I'm sure there will be more discussion on that for the next couple of days. Back to Matt Lubick. He said, he was also asked what needed to change to allow Nebraska to run the football downhill, because there was a lot of discussion last week or this week, I should say, on here's that quote. They had kind of abandoned the running game. And here's him on what Illinois needed to do differently to allow Nebraska to run the ball downhill.
Well, we always want to be able to run the ball downhill, and we weren't in that game. I'll give credit to Illinois. They did a good job. Some things up front. We lost some one-on-one battles, and not just up front, but everywhere. They won some one-on-one matchups. That is part of, running the ball downhill is everyone's got to win their one-on-one matchup. So we got to get better at that. And there were times that we did a decent job, but it wasn't good enough.
On top of that, he was also asked about play calling. And Frost said yesterday that, he called a bulk of the plays, and if not all the plays. And so Lubick was asked today about the collaboration and how much involved in the play calling he is, who else is kind of involved in the play calling, and then also just how it all unfolds. Is it an all week long thing? Do they make adjustments as they go? Do they make adjustments in game? He was asked about all that, and here's him.
Well, a big part of it, of calling a game is the week and the preparation before, as far as everyone's involved in it. The whole offensive staff about, this is the stuff that we think we can do well, that we've done well in the past, or that we think attacks that defense. And so you put on a play call sheet, then it's just kind of reacting to the situations. But really, everyone's involved into it. There is one voice, where it comes out of the one voice, but everyone's involved in play calling, and then it's just a matter of going to the situations. And you rehearse it all week long, so when those specific situations come up, the call is already ready. So I really think, that the game's pretty much called before the game. When the game happens is when you just do what you've been trained to do and rehearse it. And that's when it comes out. Now, and again, I think in play calling too, we don't regret the preparation. And it was still some of those same situations, some of the same calls would be called. We regret sometimes the execution. That's what we got to look at ourselves as coaches. How can we get our players to execute better? Because it starts with us.
That is Matt Lubick talking about what Illinois needed to do to run the ball down, or to allow Nebraska to run the ball downhill and all that as well. I mean, let's look back at Illinois a little bit. For me personally, 402-464-5685. The most frustrating thing to come out of that game personally, just kind of on the surface as well, was the quick abandonment of the running game, the organized running game, because they ran it. A third of their running plays, I think they had 39 rushes in total. And yes, that includes scrambles and everything, but I think 11 of them came on that one drive, their second to last drive, where they went, 7+ minutes and 19 plays in a time where you kind of needed a sense of urgency because clock wasn't really on your side. Yes, it was probably their most complete drive of the game, that second to last one. Just looking at, the length of the drive and the result. However, that was kind of a time that you needed a sense of urgency, and it kind of just looked like Nebraska was lacking that sense of urgency all game. And that was just in my opinion. Marquis Stepp that day, he looked like a Big Ten running back for what we got to see of him. I think he only carried it 3 times for 10 or 11 yards, but then he had that wheel route that kind of showed his pass catching ability, the ability to run a route down the side of the field, and Adrian was able to put a ball on the spot there. I'm not necessarily saying Adrian looked good. I mean, we can dive into that. We talked about that yesterday, and you can't really say let's bench him, because nobody knows, maybe even this coaching staff, they don't know what they have behind Adrian Martinez. Logan Smothers, I mean, that's what the whole thought process was last year, is let's bench Adrian Martinez because everybody wants Luke. Then Luke came out, was barely serviceable. It wasn't good against Illinois. And that's, we all know how that story was written. And so I'm not saying Adrian looked good yesterday. Yes, he missed ball, he missed throws. Wyatt Lever, whichever way you want to put it, whether you're saying you're on that boat of, oh man, Omar Manning should have been in there and should have ran that play in that situation because he has longer arms, he would have been able to catch that one. Or if you're in the boat of, oh, Adrian Martinez should have been able to hit a 6'3" receiver in Wyatt Lever. Yeah, or even if you're on the boat of, oh, Austin Allen, he didn't have a catch till the fourth quarter and he's 6'9". Why isn't he running that route? Well, that's a question for this coaching staff, I suppose, because in my opinion, all those are valid arguments, but also Wyatt Lever got both of his hands on the catch on the football, I should say. So maybe he should have made that catch, even though it wasn't the best of thrown passes. So that's, whichever boat you're in, I'm not saying that Adrian looked good, but I guess when the game plan, which, we were told was going to be quite a bit of run, what we were expecting because of how comfortable this staff felt in their guys that they had in the running back room. And just from the outside, you don't even need to listen to the coaching staff. You can look at this group on paper and see Gabe Ervin, and you can see Marquis Stepp and Sevion and even Ramir Johnson. And, then we had some guys go to practice. Like, there's chances to go to practice, and you see even Jacques Yant lining up and them running specific packages with Omar Manning and Jacques Yant and getting excited with some run formations and everything. Maybe when that game plan completely switches around, you kind of saw Adrian get flustered. You kind of saw that he felt like he was the one that had to shoulder all the weight, because that's what it's been in years past, is when everything breaks down. Last year it was, hey, let's throw some passes to Wandale. Let's throw Wandale right into the middle of everybody. Let's run Wandale right up the middle. They don't have it. They don't have that this year. And so despite Luke McCaffrey not breathing down Adrian's neck in the quarterback room, Adrian probably feels like he's the one that has to shoulder all the weight. And maybe, I'd probably, if I was out there, I'd probably make some stupid decisions under pressure. But once again, I'm not a Division I Power 5 quarterback, so I can't say that. Let's also look at the offensive line, because that was not the greatest product on Saturday. The offensive line, it was not. There was that one bad snap towards the end of the game by Juergens. Also at left tackle, which we heard all week going in, and this is where I want to leave it open for you guys. And I know we're getting a lot of texts here, and so we'll get to them here in a couple minutes. But this is where I want to leave it open to you guys. What were your guys' thoughts on switching out Turner Corcoran and Brant Banks pretty much every series. I know Corcoran's been banged up a little bit, but it is one of the more important positions on the offensive line, especially with Adrian Martinez at quarterback. It's protecting the backside of him. And, you have that thought of maybe Adrian, you can put that into, and I'm not trying to defend Adrian, but if it's going to sound like it, but if your left tackle's being, or changed every single position or possession, maybe you're not the most comfortable back there, especially right out of the gate when you take a shot right in the lower part of your back. Maybe you don't feel comfortable and you're a little giddy and a little just flustered the rest of the way. And you can look at it two ways. And this is where I want to hear your thoughts once again. You can look at it one way, and both guys are good enough to start. There was talk before the season that maybe Brant Banks finds himself onto the field just because he's that talented and he's good enough to play, but maybe there's just not a spot there. Or you can look at it this way. Neither guy has been able to take the job. And like I said, yes, Corcoran has been banged up, but he was good enough to play on Saturday. And maybe that is a situation of maybe he was on a pitch count where they're like, you know what, we're going to throw you out there for the first for a couple series, and then we'll see how you feel and we'll assess it as it goes. And it very well could be that. But if it is the latter, where neither guy is able to take the job, that's the same story as other important positions. Maybe like the running back room in years past. And then here's the bigger question. Is what does all of this tell you about the competition levels at practice? How much are guys competing at practice? We talked about it earlier with Husker volleyball. They know that they're a top 5 team in the country, but every single day they don't settle. They know they're not the best. They know that even if they were the best, they want to continue getting better. And they embrace that. And so maybe there's something going on with the competition levels at practice. I don't know. Maybe it's awesome. But all of that kind of works in together, I believe. And so it kind of just something to think about there. 402-464-5685. Let's get to some of the texts here before our final timeout. Unnamed texter says, hopefully this week we can find out a little more about what we have behind Adrian. Yeah, that's the thing about Fordham, though, guys. Just prepare. Like, Nebraska could go out and play how they played against Illinois and still win by 25, 28. Or you could look at it this way. And this is how I encourage you guys to look at it. This is how I'm going to try to look at it. It's hard. It's going to be hard, if Gabe Ervin goes off for a 75-yard touchdown run, or, Adrian completes 85% of his passes this weekend. It's going to be hard to look at it this way, but look at what kind of personnel are on the field when and what packages. Who's that first group of wide receivers? Because we were told from this coaching staff that there was 6 to 7 guys. However, against Illinois, there was no Xavier Betts. There was no Alante Brown. Omar Manning had 2 catches. So once again, it's just that unproven talent. And so it's just something to watch in that way this Saturday and see how you feel about everything. There's some comments about the sellout streak. Taylor says the O-line was trash. Well, maybe that's the thing is how do you fix it then? What needs to change to fix it? Let's take one final timeout. Keep sending your thoughts and opinions on the Sartor Heyman text line. Go ahead and call in 402-464-5685. We'll take one final timeout. We'll wrap this up, talk about the Huskers a little bit more. Up next on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Showers and thunderstorms will continue to be a possibility this morning. By this afternoon, some sunshine tries to mix in. We'll see a high temp of around 82. Heading into tonight, partly cloudy with the low dropping down to 66. We'll start off with cloud cover tomorrow, then break out the sunshine and warm up a bit with a high of 87. That's a check of your forecast. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Allo knows businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before, we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
Want a free pair of Nebraska football tickets? Head to theticketfm.com's contest tab and register for a free pair of tickets each week of a home game, courtesy of Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of Woods Brothers and 93.7 The Ticket.
Experiencing increased body fat, low sex drive, lack of energy, or general fatigue? Vitalize Health offers testosterone replacement therapy and peptide therapy to boost hormone levels and build muscle mass. Call Vitalize Health today at 402-413-0717 or go online to vitalizehealthne.com.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start with what makes Bubbles and Blocks special.
We have 3 beautiful locations in Lincoln that provide the safety, security, and reliability you need while also bringing a family feel to each classroom at every location.
I also hear some congratulations are in order.
Thank you. Yes, we just won the Lincoln Choice Award for Best Daycare and Preschool for the 3rd year in a row.
What should people do if they want to join the Bubbles and Blocks family?
Call to set up a tour to enroll your child today, or you can visit bubblesandblocks.com to apply to join our team.
We take our college football Saturdays so seriously at 93.7 The Ticket that one post-game show simply isn't enough. Join Husker Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and DP for the Ticket postgame. 90 minutes following each Nebraska game at Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. They'll break down the game from their vantage point and bring in special guests as well, with giveaways to listeners who drop by. It's the Ticket postgame with Jay Foreman and DP at Tanner's Bar and Grill. Sponsored by Action Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning and Vinnie Kreekak of State Farm Insurance. Early break with Sip and Jake.
I wanted to see a team that was pissed, that was urgent, and I saw that from the get-go from the defense. Man, they look good. The defense was getting in the backfield right away. Those first couple drives, oh my gosh. Man. And then it just stopped. I said, this can't be a couple drives. It's got to be a full 60 minutes. If you are going to tell me, Cam Taylor-Britt, on Monday that this is your Super Bowl for the year, I better see 60 minutes of hell out there. Fire. I didn't see it.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
Deck City is Lincoln's DIY deck headquarters. With real deck professionals, they can help
Deck
you
City is
grow
Lincoln's
the
DIY deck
headquarters. They also offer
with
real deck professionals, they can help
Deck
you
City
grow
offers
the
the best
process.
quality materials.
They also offer
so you have a
financing
deck
for qualified
flat.
customers.
Deck City offers
Yellow
the
rubber
quality
to
materials.
so
So
you
you
have
have
a deck built on the market.
There's
and high quality
yellow
aluminum
rubber
railings
to the
by
best
Westbury
quality
or diamond piers on the market, and high quality aluminum railings by Westbury or diamond piers for easy footing install. For those looking to bring your wood deck back to life, they offer now open Saturdays from 9 to 1. Deck City, your deck material headquarters, is now open Saturdays from 9 to 1, 2 blocks north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back here on the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com. Nick Sainert here. One final time, couple minutes left here on your Tuesday. One-on-one with DP will be after this, old school, and then the show Ticket Weeknights with Eric Strickland this evening. So a lot of good stuff coming your way. Also, if you're not going to the game Saturday, you can still be involved. We'll be down at Tipsy Tina's. Not sure if I will be, but I mean, the more important people will be in Happer, DP, Jake, they'll all be down there. So go say hello to them. One last thing I wanted to get to here is this quote from Matt Lubick talking about Sevion Morrison, because that was one of those guys that, if you were listening to the pregame show, we were thinking that could maybe get the start over Marquis Stepper, Gabe Irvin. And so he was asked about Sevion Morrison and just guys in general and earning playing time. And you'll find that there's one key word that they keep going back to.
Yeah, just and not just him. At the end of the day, at every position, you're going to play the guys that are the most consistent in practice. And not saying that he wasn't consistent, but there were other guys that were a little more consistent. And it's really that simple. It's the same thing at receiver, same thing at quarterback. It's the same thing at the offensive line. As coaches, you want to play the guys that you think give you the best chance to win in that situation. And playing time isn't just given. You got to earn it. Okay, you got to earn it. Savion's going to be a good player for us. He had a good week of practice this week, and so we told all our guys that, from the receiver position to the running back position. We want competition. We want to play more guys, but you got to earn that as a football player.
So they got to earn it, and they have to be consistent. Well, how do you judge if a guy is consistent?
Play with great effort, doing things the right way, so knowing your assignment, lining up right, making the plays you have to make when the ball's coming to you, make the play, and then blocking. Those four things. And so whoever can do those the best on a consistent basis is going to be in the game. Now I'll say this: we need to play more receivers. That needs to be earned. And that is the plan moving forward. But at the same time, you still got to earn that.
Let's stop it right there. They want to play more receivers, but they need their guys to be consistent. So maybe that starts the thought process of maybe in practice, some of the guys weren't playing to the level that they wanted, and they felt comfortable playing the guys on the field. Now, years ago, or a couple years ago, not years ago, last year, I was in that boat where they were saying how, they need to, they just didn't know the whole playbook. So that's why they weren't playing. And I was in that boat at some point. It's like, man, it just feels like you kind of got to get your athletes out on the field at some point. And it was really, it was tough knowing that guys like Omar and Xavier Betts were in your back pocket, but the coaches just didn't feel comfortable using them. This year, I feel like it's different. I feel like Matt Lubick just said, and give credit to them for holding a higher standard for their guys at practice. And so maybe looking ahead, that's why Xavier Betts, I'm sure that they wanted to play him. Having a weapon like that, having a weapon like Omar Manning is awesome. But maybe it's just not up to what they feel like is a good playing point for them. That's all for today. We have about 30 seconds left. Also, J.R. Smith is in college, if you did not see. He documents everything on Twitter about how he feels. He was up at 5 a.m. LA time, he said, doing some assignments, and said that after a tough first week of classes, he's not going to let it get him down. So he's playing golf there in North Carolina. So a lot of interesting stuff with JR in college. I got a big slow pitch softball game tonight. You can expect a full report tomorrow. But that's all for today. One-on-one with DP is next. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday.
Mike Schaefer here with 5-star child care provider Lee Beecher from Bubbles and Blocks. Let's start